Newsom is one of President Trump's most staunch critics. And I'm curious, California, deeply blue state, how do voters feel about President Trump? And if I'm one of the Republican candidates for governor here, what does that mean for me?
Yeah, Brittany. And as you might expect in California, President Trump is not popular. He's got a 32% approval, 62% disapprove of his job performance. So that's pretty poor. It's even poor for Trump. He lost the state by about 20 points in 2024. So we can see that 30-point difference, that's tough. And it's going to be tough for any Republicans on the general election ballot in November. They're not going to necessarily want to tie themselves to the hip with President Trump. And in fact, they're going to want to distance themselves from Trump as much as they can in the state of California. That just is not a good place to be electorally.
I want to turn now to the biggest issues facing Californian voters because whenever you and I talk about a race that is really anyone's race, it's so spread out, we always look to the issues to see clues as to what candidates could perhaps glom onto when it comes to messaging. So, what are those top issues facing Californian voters?
Yeah, Brittany, and we've talked about this before and we'll talk about it again. It's the economy, and in California in particular, it's housing. So those two combined, economy 37 and housing 19%, those form a majority of folks' top issue in the state. In third place is threats to democracy at 16%. That's similar to what we've seen in California previously, and I think it does help to explain some of Governor Newsom's popularity on some of the issues here. But the economy and affordability issues, those are going to be absolutely paramount in this election. Like I said, some of the campaigns are focusing more so now on affordability than they were in, say, 2024 when we started talking about it. But a lot of the campaigns just weren't really paying attention. And now we even asked folks, are have you considered leaving California as a result of the high cost of living? And a majority, 53%, say that they have considered in the past year leaving California because of the high cost of living. So that just speaks to how important this issue is for folks and why the campaigns just have to focus on it.
Both the Biden and Trump administrations have been roundly criticized over their handling of immigration, both for different reasons, though. President Biden and his administration, they were admonished over border crossings. There were record high border crossings under President Biden's watch. Critics said he essentially left the border wide open. Then President Trump, we are over a year into his second term, and while border crossings have plunged, there have been criticisms over his immigration enforcement operations. People have said that they don't like ICE's tactics. They think they're too aggressive. You asked Golden State voters whose immigration policies they liked better, Trump or Biden's. What did they say?
Yeah, this was kind of interesting, Brittany. And I think it speaks to some of the weaknesses in the Democratic Party's platform right now because 41% say that they prefer the Biden administration's policies versus 38% who say they prefer Trump's policies, and then 21% who say neither. So, in a state where Donald Trump lost the election in 2024 by 20 points and now has a minus 30 net approval, voters are just barely split between preferring Trump's immigration policies versus the Biden administration's policies. So I think that really, really should be alarm bells for the Democratic Party, especially in California, on issues of immigration and how folks feel. They might be willing to give Democrats benefit of the doubt elsewhere, but not here, not on immigration. And they are nearly evenly split between Trump and Biden policies.